Hi, this is Bethany Gagné, founder of the Albany Peace Project, and today it's a great pleasure to be with Sam Trumbore. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Sam is the Reverend here at the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Albany. Thanks, I worked on that. And as usual, Sam and I got into a wonderfully deep conversation. And Sam, thank you so much for all of your efforts. You've been very supportive of the Peace Project this year. Very much appreciate that. And today, can you talk about, because I know you've been meditating for over 30 years, and lots of knowledge about that. Can you tell us a little bit about what skill set you're bringing to meditation today, and what you could share possibly about Buddhism? And
yeah, I was thinking that I've been thinking about how cultivating peace here in Albany connects with the particular kind of meditation practice that I do. I do a kind of practice called mindfulness practice. And mindfulness practice has a couple of components that sometimes I think will work with what you're doing. So I wanted to share that with your audience to see if this might be a positive for them too, a positive connection. There's the mindfulness piece, which is developing the quality of observing how the mind works as it's happening, and then being able to know what the mind is doing. It's like this process of witnessing the mind as it functions, and that leads to liberating experiences of insight. There's another practice that is done in the Theravada and Buddhist tradition that I thought would be good to talk about, which is the loving kindness practices. And this practice has four components. The technical name for it, some might recognize, is called the Brahma Viharas. It's the practices that cultivate energies of love. The four components are very interesting, I think, because it's like four different lenses into love.
oh, that's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
In the Greek tradition, there's brotherly love, there's erotic love, and then there's agape, the religious, spiritual love. And in Buddhism, the four ways it gets split up is as loving kindness, as sympathetic joy, as compassion, and then there might be a little surprising to people, the idea of equanimity being a heart practice.
And that's interesting, equanimity being a form of love.
Yes, being a form of love. So the first one that I mentioned is this loving kindness. And it's kind of, I think of it as being like a lamp of love. Just like you're radiating love in every direction. It's not love to a person, it's this love, I think of it sometimes as love without an object. Just being this beam of light to all beings. And I think sometimes the way that you do the practice lines up well with that kind of practice. But there's these other ones too. There's also this quality of sympathetic joy. So when somebody is having a moment of celebration that you're with them, you're not experiencing necessarily jealousy of wishing, I wish I could have that too. It's more that you bring your moment of celebration to their moment of celebration. And it's like, oh, we can really join together in the love of being in this place of when things go well and great things happen, the time of celebration. Right. So that kind of energy is a lovely thing. It's I think of it the kind of joy when you're rooting for the same team and that team wins and we are celebrating together because we have accomplished this. So that there's a sense of
absolutely
mutual.
It's so much more fun celebrating when you have a joy to share it with someone, and to have people honestly and authentically share that joy back with you. That's really
it's a wonderful
sweet.
experience.
It is.
So that you can actually cultivate and learn how to do that better by practicing it. So that's a particular practice. Then there's also the practice of compassion, something more common. But that's the case where you're with somebody who's in pain or suffering or having a difficult moment, and instead of trying to fix them or push them away or separate yourself like they're contagion, I don't want your bad feelings, you're joining them, you're coming closer to them, and you're bringing your own experience of suffering and pain to join and meet them in their experience so that they don't feel alone. They feel connected, they feel one. You're not taking away their pain, you're just joining to them. And that, it can be as powerful as the sympathetic joy experience.
Absolutely.
And I think we've all had that experience when somebody has been with us in a difficult moment, and how meaningful that is.
And how important it is for people to even just talking about it, because sometimes when something bad happens, people kind of shy away from people who have had something bad happen, and yet...
Like the loss of a family member.
And they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And then they feel intimidated, but really just this idea, your gift of just being there, right? And how important that is. So just know that if you ever feel like you don't know what to offer, just your presence, right? Which kind of leads to equanimity, right? Or no? It
does, to some degree. But this equanimity is all three of those together, but with, it's a receptivity to the present moment. So that no matter what is happening, if things are difficult, if things are wonderful, if they're unpleasant, whatever the moment is offering, you're there. Without any screen, without any protective garment on you, that you're willing to be present to whatever life is offering in this moment. And that there is a centeredness and a stability that allows you to be whatever is needed in that moment. And that is a beautiful place to be. And in Buddhist practice, there are meditation, concentration practices that can help you get to that centeredness and stability so that you can have an expansiveness to be able to go with whatever the moment requires.
And that being a form of love.
And that is a form of love, to be in that place. Because I think of a wonderful example of that is the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama meets every moment, just like that. He lives and breathes that kind of equanimity. So as he's dealing with the Chinese, he's dealing with one of his monks, he's the same monk. He's the same guy. He is just who he is in that moment, and he's present.
How powerful!
Yeah.
So there's,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So there's ways of practicing mindfulness that we can cultivate this equanimity.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing that.
Well, we're going to do a little bit of the loving kindness practice of working with that loving, trying to cultivate that loving kindness energy, because that's something that I think is very compatible with the project that you're doing with working to reach out to the whole community and create this peaceful space. Because even if somebody is not necessarily the sympathetic joy or the compassion is, that's where you're with the person physically. You're there, or you're thinking of them remotely. But here, this is kind of a radiant to anyone who's in need. Could be receiving this energy.
Nice.
It might turn them from raising their hand to withholding their hand. So that might tilt the balance a little bit for them.
Certainly. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
And you have meditation classes at 9 o'clock on Sundays.
Yep. Our format is to have a reading for 10 minutes, and then we do meditation for 20 minutes. We have some conversation about the reading or any questions people have about meditation.
Nice.
And then we do this particular loving kindness practice for 5 minutes to close.
Oh, how nice.
So it's 45 minutes, and many people find that that's a good way to refresh their meditation practice once a week.
Yeah, I bet. And then service is at 10,
and
right?
we have our service at 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're at 405 Washington Avenue, so if you want to come on down. And thank you, Sam, so much. I'm looking forward to you participating. And I see you've got your complaint-free bracelet on there, so thank you.
Working hard on that.
I want to ask what day you're on, so
it varies.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and be sure to tune in for Sam's meditation. Thank you.